What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee with Dudes. I got another walking episode. I have not listened back to the last one. Hopefully, it's not annoying, but you know what? I'm just going to get some steps in while I do this podcast. And I got a good one for you today. I think this is one that we haven't necessarily talked about for a while. And what I did is I chat GPT the top five science backed protein hacks to increasing your protein. Something along those lines. That was not exactly what I said. I said top five science backed hacks to increase your protein intake. And this is just backed by studies, is what it says on here. I'm just going to roll through these top five, and I'm going to give my intake. I'm going to give my take on each of them because I looked through all of them quickly before I clicked record, and they're very, very good tips here. So I think this can help because one of those big things is people struggle. I've noticed over the course of time with working with tons of different people on their health and fitness goals. Protein is one of the biggest struggles where people struggle to eat enough of it. Generally, we want to be, at a bare minimum, depending on where you're at in your goals, we want to get ourselves up to at least zero point 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, if possible. If we can get closer to that 1 pound per or gram per pound of body weight, so for a 200-pound man, they would want to eat, somewhere around 200 grams of protein a day. That's really the sweet spot, right? Somewhere in that, 180 to 220 grams a day for that person is going to be a nice range to sit in. And it's going to help with so many things. It helps you feel fuller for longer. You actually burn more calories during the digestion process when you eat protein. So like protein, like 100 grams of just straight protein is going to digest, and you're going to burn more calories digesting it than 100 grams of carbs, 100 grams of fat, all of that stuff. And then there's endless other things. I mean, muscle building, energy, stuff like that goes a long way when it comes to protein. So without further ado, number one on this list is start your day with protein. I mean, this is huge. You can't hit a protein goal if you do not start your day with a good meal that's high protein. So, I mean, this can be a lot of different things. You could you could have a smoothie, with, Greek yogurt. You could have a Greek yogurt bowl. I always start my day with eggs. So, like, I kind of scramble together 3 eggs. I have, ham, cheese. I'll do some veggies, and I make it into a scramble plus like half of it I'll put into a tortilla with avocado. And so that generally gets me, generally at the end of that, I've had like at least 50 grams of protein in my first meal, right? So it's like you start yourself off where, my goal is to get somewhere around, 200 grams, 220 a day. I don't track it anymore. I kind of know where I'm at this point. I've eaten, I got a good feel for it. But that 50 grams in that first meal just really starts me off on the right foot. And so make sure you're starting, like you're figuring out that first meal, getting, 30 grams of protein at least in. Again, protein shakes can be good, Greek yogurts, smoothies, eggs, some sort of meat. All of that stuff's going to go a long way. Number two is having protein snack swaps. So, figuring out what you're eating throughout the day, like what kind of snacks are you mixing in if you are a snack person, and using that as a way to change those low protein snacks for high protein snacks. So some of the ones that they gave here were changing like a chips for string cheese. Now, string cheese isn't going to be extremely high in protein. Here's a good one: nuts for beef jerky or beef sticks. Those are going to be very high in protein. If you have candy bar or something like that, you could do it for a protein bar. I've had some protein bars that honestly taste like a candy bar, and they're 20, 30 grams of protein. So just figure out what you're snacking on. How can we shift these into a more high protein snack, and just really help yourself out? Again, like a protein shake, protein bars, beef jerky, beef sticks, all of those things are going to go a long way towards, increasing your protein throughout the day. Number two is to add a protein source at every meal. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the first one. Start your day off with protein. And I think like my take on this is like build your meal around the protein, right? Think of the protein source first. Think of, how am I going to get myself to 30, 40, 50 grams of protein in this meal, and then build everything else around it. So it's like, okay, I'm going to have chicken breasts, right? And then I'm going to build in the veggies and the rice and or the potatoes or whatever it is that you're building around it, right? So start there. Start with that salmon. Start with the whatever it is that you're going to have that big source of protein be in your meal, and then build the rest of your meal around it. Is a good way to go about it. Again, if you can get at least 30 grams of protein in every single meal, you're going to be setting yourself up pretty good. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your goal, right? If you're like 3 meals a day, you don't snack, and you're trying to get 150 grams of protein in each meal, then for the whole day, you're going to want to obviously just make sure you're having somewhere in the 40 to 60 grams of protein per meal, right? And it's just kind of go at the end of the day, figure out what you need, and then work your way back to how that looks at every single meal. Number 4 is to use protein powders smartly. So this is good. I like this. First off, like one thing I do too that has a little bit of protein in it, I have collagen in my coffee every single morning. And this it's good for skin, hair, nails, all of that stuff. But also it generally has, I think mine has like 9 grams of protein in it. So I'm starting off my morning with some protein there, even before I have my first meal. And but protein powder, I keep that around. I always put it in my smoothies. I mix it into certain things. Like I'll put it in a yogurt bowl, Greek yogurt bowl, to give myself an extra 20, 30 grams of protein. And so this is what that means to me, where it's like they can be great. If you need, if you're a busy person and you want to get a quick 50 grams of protein in, you can put 2 scoops of protein powder in, a shaker. And then like when you need something throughout the day, just fill that up with water or milk and then shake it up. And that's a quick 50 grams of protein there, or just 1 scoop, 25 grams, or, just again, using it to help you hit your goals. This is especially good for people who struggle to hit your goals. Maybe it's like, oh, I'm 50 grams short. Perfect. Well, you don't necessarily, you can use some of these other tips, but you can also just do two scoops of protein powder throughout the day, and that's an extra 50 grams of protein, depending on the protein powder that you have. So that can go a long way towards helping you achieve those goals that you're after. And then the last one that we have is a great one. I think this should probably be the first one on the list, but it's track your intake. And it says track your intake in parentheses, at least briefly. So this is like awareness of where you're at is the biggest thing. I've had timeless people where they're coming into my program back when I don't coach as much anymore. It's a very minimal thing for me now. But when I was coaching a lot, it was people would come in and it's like, what do you get? Well, I eat a lot of protein, right? And I would see, oh, they're eating 50 grams of protein a day. And they should be eating 150 grams of protein a day or whatever it was. But a lot of times people think they're eating a lot of protein and they're way off from where they're at. And so once you start tracking it, you start to realize, oh shit, I'm not eating. Oh, almost fell off this thing. Be careful. Be careful on these walking pads. That would not have been good. It would have probably been good content for you guys. You would have seen me just hit the wall. But just if you track your protein, you're going to figure out where you're at. Do it for a week, or even just do it for 3 days. Figure out, okay, where am I at on protein? It's like, oh, crap, I'm way off from my goal. Now, where do you need to be? Don't just jump all the way up there, right? Don't jump all the way up there. Ease your way up, because protein's one of those things. If you go from eating 50 grams a day to 150 grams the next day, it's going to create some issues digestive-wise. And so ease your way up, but also know that like when you're tracking it, you're going to start to be able to increase it, because now you're aware of it. You're aware of where you were. You're aware of where you want to go. And now we can fill the gap with more protein and utilize some of these other 5 in here to do that. And so again, these are the 5. Start your day with protein. Get yourself a high protein breakfast. Protein snack swaps. Swap your snacks you're eating throughout the day for higher protein options. Protein bar, protein shake, smoothie, jerky, Greek yogurt, beef sticks, whatever it is, like whatever you enjoy. Find those. That can be an extra 15, 20, 30 grams of protein there. Easy. Add a protein source to every meal. Again, I expanded on this build your meals around a protein source. It goes a long way. And then use protein powders smartly. So if you need more protein in a day, a scoop or two of protein powder can go a long ways towards helping you there. And then lastly, track your intake. So figure out where you're at currently with your protein intake, figure out where you want to go, where's the gap, and then using all these other ones that we talked about today to fill that gap. And so hopefully this has been helpful. I think this is a great one to make sure that you're sharing with somebody out there. I know that everybody who's watching this probably knows somebody who's on a journey of trying to get healthier, trying to get in better shape, trying to lose weight, whatever it is. And this is a huge thing to help them out. And so hopefully you enjoy this. Again, send it to somebody you know and love. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. We appreciate you watching and listening every single week and hope you have a great rest of the day. And I'll be talking to you soon.